Welcome to another episode of the Successful Driver Podcast. Today we're going to talk about special partnerships and successful partnerships here today. Very, very excited to be talking to Trae Viser and Kieth Wilson in the Aero branch in Springfield, and also Jeremy Kellett with Oakley Trucking. I'll say hi, Jeremy. Thank you for joining us, Jeremy. Appreciate you, man.
You bet. Glad to be here. Appreciate you inviting me.
Trae, excited to talk to you again as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Kieth, Kieth, are you a first timer on the podcast? Have we had you on yet?
No, not on the Aero podcast. No.
We haven't lost a patient yet. Yeah. So hopefully we don't hear today. But yeah, Kieth, we're excited to have you guys. I know you guys both have been on Oakley's podcast. Jeremy, we've had Oakley on your guy on our podcast as well. We're really excited to have you back. And Jeremy, just as a refresher, just tell us a little bit about Oakley and what y'all are up to.
Sure, man. Glad to. Hey guys, what's up, Kieth, Trae? Good to see you guys. Even though we talk pretty much daily, but the Oakley. I'm the director of recruiting at Oakley Trucking, and we're a trucking company out of North Little Rock, Arkansas, Kent, and we have 850, 860 owner-operators, and they have their own trucks, and they pull our trailers, run under our authority, our insurance, that kind of stuff. It's all dry bulk, end dumps, pneumatic tanks, and hoppers, and we run all over the country. But it's a trucking company that I've been with for 29 years now that I don't know anything else but this place. And I think it's the best out there. And we try to do like your podcast is titled, the Successful Driver Podcast. That's what we try to do out of owner operators. And that's our goal, is to make successful owner operators here at Oakley Trucking.
Well, and we're absolutely excited to hear from you. And, I know you and Oakley and Aero have a special relationship. We've had, successful partnership. And Trae, Kieth, Trae, I want you to start. How did the relationship with Oakley kind of begin?
I mean, it's been about 10 years ago now. We had a salesman here that went down and visited with them a little bit, and saw there was a need on their side. They had drivers that needed trucks or drivers coming in, operators coming in that had equipment that didn't quite fit their mold or the age group, or, look to the standard that they wanted. So there was a need on both ends. Of course, we sell trucks and they need trucks. So, that's a match made up. That salesman moved on, and I took the account from there, and we just kind of developed it and started attending driver appreciation events, started going down, figuring, out Jeremy, talking with him, building a relationship there. And then it just kind of snowballed into our values fit in with their values, and, what they're trying to accomplish is what we're trying to accomplish. And in selling drivers, not just one truck, but their second truck and their third truck, and then their cousin a truck and their brother a truck, and so on and so forth. So we want to make drivers as successful as we can for Oakley, just like they do. And that relationship has worked both ways for a long time.
Jeremy, you said a minute ago that you're in constant communication with Aero. You're, almost every day. Who do you have to deal with more, Kieth or Trae?
Usually Kieth, but I exaggerate a little bit, because typically now Kieth, he talks to Kent and Dustin and Corey on a daily basis, right, Kieth? It's right. It's every day because there's a deal going every week. So, but I try to butt in there and talk to them and stay in touch with them. Trae was talking about the history, and I can remember. I don't know, Trae, was it Jason that came down? I think that came down originally.
Right. Yeah, Jason and Jarrett Parker, who has moved on, came down originally, and Jason's now with our buying department and moved over there to our purchasing department. So they came down initially and made the initial contact, and You know, I can remember.
Does he still hold that over your head that, hey, I'm the one that made the initial?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I mean, you know, it's kind of like, you know, somebody introducing you to your wife. You know, they made the introduction, but it was hard work to get that ring on there.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true. That's
And
true.
you better invite him to the wedding, though. That's all.
That's right. That's right.
So, Kieth, you're in constant communication with Oakley. What's kind of your role in helping and service Oakley?
You know, we do talk a lot. You know, they have either a new recruit that comes in or a current owner operator that's maybe looking to upgrade. And you know, over the course of the years, we've figured out what trucks work for them, what they expect, spec wise, truck wise, and you know, we just make sure that, you know, the trucks we put them on fit that bill, you know. And it's a mixture of both, you know, new guys coming in and guys that have been there a while that are, you know, just looking to upgrade a truck.
Jeremy, you know, kind of piggybacking on that, what's the thing that has drawn, you know, Oakley to Arrow as a partner?
You know, great question, Kent, because I was going to mention this. You know, just having Jason come down 10 plus years ago in person to meet us, that's a step that a lot of people don't take, that come down and genuinely want to get to know the company because they've heard good things about it and somehow want to see if there's an opportunity there to partner up with us. And that went a long ways. Now, you know, I have to say the original salesman didn't last long for whatever the reason was. And Trae came in, and Trae had that same attitude of coming down and visiting with us, get to know us. You know, one of the best things is we were very honest with each other and still are to this day, but very honest up front with what each other's expectations are, because we are dedicated to make these owner operators successful, and we want them to have a good business, you know, and the likes of them doing that, they've got to have a good truck, a good dependable truck, and they got to buy it from a good reputable place, because we kept finding out that, man, where they buy some of these other trucks is terrible. I mean, they buy trucks that are no good. The salesman won't even call them back. They've got a problem. I mean, and so it was to our benefit to find companies like Arrow to where we could trust and have faith in, and we could refer a guy to them. I mean, that's something that we've done for years. I mean, I've even done it before Arrow. You know, I've done it with places, and it's just something that's a big need. Now, Arrow has surpassed everybody else in expectations doing it, but it's just worked out to be a great relationship.
You know, Kieth, you've seen a lot of Oakley drivers come through your doors. What are the traits that you see in an Oakley driver that are going to lead them to be successful?
It seems to me that typically, you know, a guy that's going to Oakley has got it together. I mean, just overall. And you can tell that through driver appreciation events and just it's the guys that go to Oakley are a different breed of truck driver. I mean, they absolutely want to be successful, but they're not afraid to get out there and put the work in to make that happen. You know, most of them have a really, really good idea of what they want before they get here, and don't have a lot of false expectations or, you know, I mean, it's they know, you know, what kind of truck they're looking for spec wise. And, you know, Oakley puts some of those requirements on the trucks, you know, and it tends to
Now, Kent, we've had some though. We've had, and we try to make sure we refer a good guy to you guys for sure. But there, I mean, sometimes it happens kind of quick. Most time we make sure they're pre-approved with Oakley to come to work to Oakley before we get them serious with Kieth and Trae. But now there's been some in the past where it kind of happened a little fast. Trae calls me and says, hey, I've had a different conversation with this guy than you have. I don't think you want him. And I appreciate that, and I mean, because they could just turn around and sell the guy a truck and here you go. But they see that too. And Keith's done it too, of calling us and go, man, have y'all know this guy very good? And we're like, well, no, not really. Let's check it. Let's look into it. And he's like, I don't think this is not Oakland material. And that goes a long ways with us, because we're doing it on our end. I mean, we're part truck salesmen / recruiters here at Oakley, trying to prepare them to whether they can even buy a truck or not. And, so it works both ways.
Absolutely. I mean, we both have the goal. We want to be the industry standard, right? We want to be the gold standard in used truck sales, and Oakley wants to be the industry standard in the dry bulk commodity. And, by the time they make it to my desk or Keith's desk, we can kind of guarantee they've been vetted very thoroughly. And so that's when Keith says, if we talk to a different breed of person, they have expectations out of the drivers just like they do out of us. And those guys, when they make it to us, have been through that process. And Jeremy mentioned being successful and setting a driver up for success, and it's starting with the truck. And I think one of the points to be made known here is that's the start. But then, you've got extended warranties, which is another partnership we have. You've got roadside assistance. You've got, for us, Amy on the back end, working with Miss Wendy down there, making the title process smooth for them. You've got, the temporary insurance thing that we help them with to get from our lot to Oakley's lot before they can lease them on, and making sure the truck's going to pass Oakley's DOT down there and our DOT here. And I mean, there's a lot of little steps in there that start with the truck, but there's a whole backside of that we take care of and try to partner up with too. So, we see that a lot, and we see a lot of guys appreciative for it when they come through our doors and head south down to Little Rock.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the stuff, Trae, we don't see, what y'all put into it beforehand to get it ready. I mean, I know we talk about it a lot, but it is, I know it's a challenge. I mean, finding the right truck the guy wants. Keith has to jump through hoops a lot of time to find the right truck and the one that fits us. And, because not all of them do. But I'll tell you the key to this whole relationship, the bottom line for us is the service after the sale. That is the number one reason we have had this long lasting relationship is the service after the sale, because me and Trae's had conversations about this all the time, because it's not, if you're going to have a problem with that truck, it's when. I mean, you're going to have it, and it's a used truck. And to me, when that happens, and it's opportunity to do the right thing and take care of these people, because I mean, they're scared, because a lot of them are first time owner operators. And there's a lot of them that are trading trucks, but it's an opportunity to take care of them. And that goes so far with people in the very beginning. And we do the same here at Oakley. I mean, it's to show people how we care. We have those same opportunities with people starting out, on a rough time or rough patch, and we try to make it better. So that right there, Ken, is and the recruiters will tell you the same thing. That's the number one deal, is taking care of these owner operators after the sale.
Yeah, and we want to do a good job there. I mean, and you and I have had conversations. There's things we can and we can't take care of, things we should and we shouldn't, after the sale. But the one thing is, when they call us, we answer. When you call, we're here to talk to you and explain why or why not or what we're doing and in providing that service after the sale. And, we try to, that just doesn't always mean paying for a breakdown. That means, hey, we can't find this part. The guy will call Keith and we'll scour the earth, and we found parts that nobody else can find. Or, it could be as simple as, hey, how often do I need to get my oil changed, or where do you suggest? Or, is there anywhere over here, where I can park overnight? Or, just little things throughout their buying cycle from one truck to the next that we try to help them take care of and keep them going up and down the road.
I'm listening to you guys talk about, a standard you're kind of both setting for yourself, and there's some cohesion with the partnership because you guys are both striving for the same things and being best in class in your areas. And Trae, just out of curiosity, how has this partnership with Oakley challenged you as a branch to improve?
As a branch, I mean, Oakley has standards as far as equipment goes. Aluminum wheels. They want virgin tires. They need a spot mirror on one side. And really, Jeremy and I have had conversations going back, 10 plus years ago, as far as thoughts on our reconditioning process. Have you thought about longer test drives? Have you looked at, hooking them to a trailer and driving them a ways before you set them out on the road to kind of get some hiccups out? And challenging each other on both sides of the spectrum to have you thought about, hey, what about? And a lot of those conversations don't happen over the phone. They're in person at events or, things we attend together. So, I mean, it changes the lens when you're going to have to service one of the best owner-operator companies in the entire United States. When you're looking at equipment that you're purchasing to stock for inventory, when you're looking at vendors to use, and are they going to try to slide something by us and then it gets caught down there? I mean, everybody up and down the cycle has to be top notch or the weak link show. So that's challenged me in my job of trying to make sure that we put out the best quality used truck that we can put out there into the market with our mud flaps on the back and their name on the side, and trying to make this driver as successful as he can be.
Kieth, I want to ask you, I want to get you back in here. What do you think? We haven't had a chance to ask you. What do you think makes a successful truck driver?
Going to Oakley?
Yeah, going to Oakley. Yep. That's the number one deal right there. A successful truck driver to me is one that is not afraid to get out there and take the chance, for one, but who also can kind of think for themselves and not just fall apart when the first little thing happens. And especially with Oakley, I mean, it's more than just hopping in a truck and running across the country and backing up to a dock and letting somebody unload you. The Oakley gig is there's a little more work involved than hauling a reefer or a dry van or something like that. But being motivated to get out there and keep going and work through issues and they have to be able to kind of think on their feet and be problem solvers as well.
Common sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's a whole lot to that.
For sure. Jeremy, I'd love to know what kind of traits that you're looking for when you're recruiting.
Yeah, two of the biggest, Kent, is you have to buy into two things working here at Oakley. And one thing is customer service. You have to have a to serve mentality to take care of our customers, because we've had customers that we've had longer than I've been here that we got to take care of. And you have to have that conversation with that truck driver about I know you're buying a truck. I know you're getting in your own business, but it can't be all about you every day. It's got to be about the customer and taking care of them and doing things right. And then the second thing is you got to buy into safety. If you're not bought into safety, you are not going to last long at Oakley Trucking. And if it's all about you all the time and safety is not a priority, then you will not last long here at Oakley, even if you get here. We try to sniff that out beforehand. But I mean, I can't say enough about our recruiters and how hard they look at people. I mean, they spend the majority of their day rejecting people. It's constant rejection from leads coming in, and it's a process to even get the phone to ring. You have to spend money advertising, get the phones to ring. You got to have multiple conversations with people. They got to meet our requirements, and there's not There's not many of them that do out there, and you just have to constantly go through them. And our recruiters do such a fantastic job. Then we have a deal through that process called expectations, that we have a whole list. My recruiters get mad at me because I make lists. I'm like, go through the checklist. Got to have a checklist. Well, let's check it off. The health, their service, safety, the truck. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And it's a big deal to get pre-approved here. And then if they got to buy a truck, well, that's a whole nother issue. So we got to have somebody we feel comfortable with to send them to. And Kieth and Trae is that guy.
That speaks a lot of volume in an industry that you always hear about shortages, and you have companies that will put anybody that has a CDL and can hold a steering wheel behind the wheel. Sometimes it speaks volumes to say that you spend most of your time rejecting more people than you actually approve to be leased on, and there's been a point in time where you guys have been able to add capacity to as fast as they can make the trailers for you to put them under, and that to me is what makes a guy successful in going to Oakley. Is you're secure. You've got the history of the customers you guys have and the customer database that you guys have put together, and these guys know they're going to turn the wheels every week, and it's just up to them to get in the seat and be professional and courteous. So I mean that to me just speaks a lot of volume to Oakley Trucking and the recruiting department there.
All right, gentlemen, I want to get you all out with this. I'm going to ask you all the same question. If you could give one piece of advice to a first-time owner-operator, what would it be? Kieth, I want to start with you. What's one piece of advice that you would give a first-time owner-operator?
Only one, huh?
One. We got to share. We got 3 people answering the question. We got to share some of these answers here.
Probably
go to Oakley.
What?
Just kidding. Go to Oakley.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be right off the tip of your tongue. I mean,
that was it.
Why you waiting so long?
I was saving that one for you. I knew that was going to be yours. The one. Well, man, it's hard to pick one. Golly, the one piece of advice probably would be to have your head straight and set and know, and this is not only related to Oakley, but buying a truck in general, to know what direction you're going and have a plan of how you want to get there and know what all that entails. Because, there's a lot more to buying a truck than just getting qualified, getting financed, and driving off the lot. And I think that's what makes us successful, is just knowing that, it is a big deal. I mean, it's especially for a first-time owner-operator, it's huge. They're taking a big leap. It's a gamble. They're nervous. Some of them are more than nervous. They're scared to death. And, just spending some time with them before they get here on the phone, giving them some reassurances, letting them know about, the different things that we do warranty-wise, and, being there for them and, that kind of stuff. That helps kind of to ease that. But, my probably biggest piece of advice is to, just know what you're getting into before you get into it, and have a plan. I mean, a business plan is a huge thing.
Trae, one piece of advice for a first-time owner-operator, what is it?
Manage your money. Make sure you pay the truck, make sure you pay yourself, and make sure you got a maintenance fund. I can't tell you how many times we've talked to guys and operators that run upon their first failure, 40, 50,000 miles down the road and don't have any money to pay for it. And, it's what'd you spend your money on, and And that to me is the guys that make it versus the guys that don't, is the guys that make it, plan for the failures, and don't spend all their money when times are good. They've got money stuck back and have paid the truck down the line. And 99% of failures we see is because of not being able to pay the breakdowns when they happen.
Jeremy, one piece of advice to first-time owner-operators.
I would say research. I know that covers a lot, but used to, when I was younger and I wanted to go buy a lawnmower, well, I just go down to the hardware store or go down to Home Depot and I just buy a lawnmower. Well, now that I'm 52 years old, I am researching lawnmowers. I'm trying to figure out which one's the best, which one has the best reviews, what fits me the best, what has the best ride. What am I going to do with it? How big do I want? I mean, the older I get, the more I look at that stuff, and I see why now. When I was stupid back then, when I was young, like most of us, but research the company you want to go to, research the kind of truck you need to buy for that company, and just talk to people. Don't just talk to a recruiter. Don't just talk to a truck salesman. Talk to the people that work there. Go see it in person, face to face means a lot to us if we can talk to somebody in person. But I would say research. The more research you can do, the better decision you're going to make. And just along with these guys and what they said, I mean, you can definitely make a good decision then.
We've talked to a lot of truck drivers on this show, and the one theme we get a lot of is when we ask, hey, what makes a successful driver? What's one piece of advice? We ask similar questions to this. The thing we get all the time, haul source. Having a good relationship and having, a quality haul source, a good partnership, aligning yourself with, a good company. One last thing, Jeremy, before we get out, just what makes Oakley such a great place to partner with?
I think it's the honesty that we have here. I mean, we have the owner-operator interest in mind. If you don't believe that, just talk to some of them. You can even talk to some of them that quit here, then go somewhere else, and they'll still tell you how good it is here. And we just being honest and upfront with people in what we're doing. This is not a smoke show. This is not something that's too good to be true, but it is it's honest company that we have to have our fundamentals, like I said earlier, taking care of our customers and being safe. And if you don't want to buy into all that, it's okay. Don't come here. That's fine. We're looking for those people. And man, I can't say enough about the owners of this company and what we have and the diversification that we have here. Not only a trucking company, but a fertilizer company, grain company, barge company. I mean, tugboat company. I mean, we just have a lot of stuff going on here at Oakley that sets a guy up to be successful for sure, Kent.
Well, that's another episode of the Successful Driver Podcast. So appreciative of Jeremy Kellett with Oakley, Trae Viser, and Kieth Wilson in our Springfield branch. This has been a lot of fun. I could talk to you guys for another hour probably, but we're going to save y'all a little bit of time. Thank you all so much for joining us, and thank everyone that's listened and watched. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We'll catch you later.